Hello everybody, this is Uncle Fred. As most of us know, through time there's always been disasters. There's been all kinds of earthquakes. There's been like volcanoes, oil spills, floods, tornadoes, famine. But the good idea about it is, like some of us have to know how to prepare, because if you prepare, then you know that you're trying to survive, and like survive is like what we have to do. So the most disasters we can try to run from, try to prevent if we prepare. So what I got here is to give y'all something to think about. What do you do if you are in a zone that floods? You live on the coastline and you know a hurricane has hit you once. Don't you think that it may come back again someday when the hurricane seasons are starting? So I just give somebody something to think about today. What do you do if you ain't got a boat? What do you do when you ain't got a life jacket? What do you do if you haven't got a canoe? What do you do if you haven't got something that will float? I like to just say, like to try to make your chances of surviving a flood. Like whatever that you can find that will float, tie it with some rope. If you know that it will float, it will try to get you to safety, and just hope that you make it through the flood. So I just tied up a tire, just showing what can float. Take some rope, something that you can hang on to, because when a disaster happens, like you have to try to think ahead of time, like how that you can try to survive. If you don't try, well, the consequences are probably going to be bad. So I'm talking about, like when a disaster happens, there's people that have fallen off of a mountain, broke their leg. They need help. So that is a survival moment. You have to learn, if you're going to live through it. Then there are other situations, earthquakes, things that you can't run from. You don't know if the ground is going to collapse under you, building fall on you, or if you're lost on the trail. But if you prepare, it's always prepare. At least give it a chance. You're giving yourself a chance to live longer by trying to prepare. So this tire will float. I don't have a boat or canoe, so that tire will float. I've got some other tires I can tie. They will float. At least I'm giving myself a chance to survive a flood. Some people try to climb on top of their houses, but what do you do when the house gets washed away and crashes into something that breaks up into pieces? Some people try to get trapped up in the trees and try to hang on. This tank will float because it's pretty well sealed. Just find something that will float. I know that these food grade plastic barrels with the lids on them, when they're empty, they will float if you tie a rope. You figure out a way to tie something that you can hang on to or tie to your body and try to float if there is a flood. It's not a good situation when there is a flood. I am just saying, if you're lost in the woods, you learn to survive. If there's a flood, try to make yourself have something that will float. If you don't have a life jacket, if you do not have a boat or a canoe or a kayak, find something that will float, and that will help your chances. If there is a flood, you are hanging on for dear life. You're hanging on for dear survival. Like the flood may carry you downstream a couple of miles, and you're just hoping for the best. Find something that will float. If you don't have anything to float, well, your chances of survival goes down very drastic. So find something that will float. There are disasters all the time. Every day there's something happening that is a disaster. I'm just putting the word out. Like, I don't have a boat. I don't have that luxury. But if you can come up with some idea, tie you a bunch of tires together. Find something that will float. This tank will float. It's sealed up. Find something that you can tie a rope onto and hang on, because your survival will depend on it. So this is just a message from Fred. Thought it's something that I thought it may be of interest of how to try to live through a flood disaster. Try to find something that will float. Give yourself the chance to survive. Give yourself that chance to live for another day. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thank y'all for watching. This is Fred. Y'all have a good day now, and y'all survive for another day.